My name is Abigail Rethwisch. I am a soprano, originally from Iowa City, Iowa. I did my undergraduate studies in music education at Simpson College in Iowa, and I did my master's at Florida State University. Growing up, my family is very musical, so music was constantly surrounding me. Some of my earliest memories of music are sitting in my dad's lap when I was a baby while he played the guitar. And so I grew up singing in church, and then as I got to high school, I was in orchestra and band and in the musicals. And so I then went to college and knew that I wanted to do something in music, but I wasn't exactly sure what. So I was playing second semester of my freshman year in the pit for Manatti's The Consul, and my voice teacher was singing on stage, and I fell in love with the voice, and I just got goosebumps, and I knew I had to try that. And so that is how I found my way to opera. Studying language is very important for an opera singer because we sing in so many different languages. I've performed roles in German, French, Italian, Czech, Russian, and English. And now I don't speak all of those languages, but in undergrad and in grad school, I studied French and German, and I actually grew up in Italy for a number of years, and so I learned Italian that way. But then studying the diction of all of these languages has been very important, so especially Czech and Russian. I don't speak those languages really at all, but I can understand some of the words, and then I know how to pronounce all of the words that I need to sing. There is a tool that helps singers pronounce languages that we're not familiar with. It's called the International Phonetic Alphabet. We call it IPA for short. And IPA designates a specific sound for each sign or each part of a word. And so by translating any language into IPA, singers can know how to pronounce a word even though we might not understand the word in its language. The beginning of preparing a role is very exciting. So the way that I would do that is I study the story of the opera and how my character fits in. And then I look at just the text, especially if it is not in English. I translate all of my role, but also the roles around it, so I know what's happening. And then if I need pronunciation help, then I would turn to IPA to help me pronounce all of these words. And at that point then, I would find a great recording and listen to it a few times so I really have a sense of the whole role. After that, I spend hours in a practice room plunking out the notes on the piano and getting the role into my body. Oftentimes first I work the notes alone without the text, and then I put the text in after I'm more comfortable with the notes. And then you go to a rehearsal and you make magic, and it's wonderful. In opera, just like many other sports or anything you might find, we have coaches and teachers. Coaches help us to learn our roles, to work on audition arias, to work on our languages, and all different kinds of coaches have different specialties. So there are general coaches that you could take anything to, or there might be people who specialize in Russian opera or in Czech opera or French opera. So you can kind of pick if you need a specialty, you can find someone to work with. We're so lucky here at Utah Opera to have Dr. Carol Anderson, who knows everything, and she can help us with any role. So I get to work with her every week, and it's incredible to take all different kinds of music to her and have her polish them and get them ready to perform. Another kind of coach is called a repetiteur, and that is someone that you would take your music to just to run it. And so say you had a new role and you've never worked with the piano before, so you would take the role to a repetiteur and you could just run the role a number of times and make sure you're really comfortable with it so that when you get to rehearsal, you'll be well prepared. Utah Opera has a very exciting opera coming up, The Long Walk by Beck, and I am playing 3 roles in this opera: an Iraqi woman, the shrink, and Aunt Sarah. So the process in learning these roles has been extremely difficult because, like I said before, oftentimes I listen to a recording to get an idea of the role, but no recordings exist of this newer opera. So it's been difficult to get a sense for what the whole role is. So it just takes a lot of time sitting at the piano, plunking things out, hoping that you're getting what the composer has in mind. But one of the roles in particular, the Iraqi woman, has an extra challenge. It contains quarter tones, so it's actually impossible to even go to the piano and play out my role because quarter tones don't exist on the piano. So that's been a bit overwhelming for me, but it's a challenge I'm working through, and it's been difficult because it's not something that I've ever done before. If you are young and you're interested in singing opera specifically, things that I would recommend are making sure you're involved in high school or even church choir so that you're doing something to be using your voice and singing. And if you're able to, getting voice lessons will really help to develop your voice. Another thing you can do is go on YouTube and listen to all different kinds of opera singers. There are so many different voices. Everyone's voice is different, like a fingerprint. And so you can find the voices that most inspire you and excite you, maybe give you goosebumps, and really learn from those singers. You can learn so much by listening. So it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You can just go on the internet and use the resources there.
Ti sei